Brett. So really don't have any injuries to talk to you about. Everybody practiced today. But for the challenge of playing Pittsburgh, we know they're a good football team, and they've got great players, they've got a great coach and great organization. So we've got to make sure we have a good week of preparation this week, go through the process to get ready to play them. So that time's yours.
Let's go next to Herbie Tiopi. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. You mentioned everybody practiced today. Tyreek Hill, Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams. How they look to you out there, and how optimistic are you as the days progress for Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, they worked and they look good today. We'll see how it goes here the rest of the week.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy.
Hi, Sam.
A lot in 2019, and then obviously in last year's Super Bowl, you guys faced teams that you had seen in the regular season. When that's the case, in your experience, how similar of the concepts do you see again the second time around? How different is it, and how does that affect your preparation for the week?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's always change that takes place. So I would expect that from Pittsburgh, and just like I do from the teams we play in the AFC West. So you play a team twice, you're going to throw some different wrinkles at them. So you just don't study the last couple games. You study the whole season when you go into something like this.
Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, you obviously knew Melvin Ingram well, having played against him for a bunch of times over the years, but now just wondering what you've learned about him now that he's been on your side for the last several games.
Yeah, listen, he's done a nice job for us. Every situation is different. He's come here and he's added some good senior leadership to the defense, along with the other good leaders that we have. So, but it's worked out well for him, and we're glad we have him.
Let's go next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Brad, I'll have a quick follow-up. Coach, during the course of the season, we've heard you, especially Steve, talk about, we're going to need everybody, right? And we have a package for this guy, and we have a package for that guy. Is there a difference between, hey, the regular season is a marathon, and it is a matter of, because it is such a long year, dividing up those reps and snaps for guys, but now there's maybe a little more sprinting, and you narrow down, how many guys are actually going to be going to play, and how much more you focus maybe the game plan on the top guys, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, so you definitely understand that it's single elimination. And so when you go through, you're going to do what you think is best. I'm not going to say it narrows it down, but you're going to narrow it down to that team, what you think is best, and then run it. It doesn't really matter if it's offense, defense, special teams, it doesn't matter.
All right, and then we heard you, talk several weeks ago about, on Sunday you kind of look ahead to, when it's a late game, you use that time to look ahead to future opponents. Does that apply? Do you have to start digging in, even not knowing if you're going to get a chance to advance, or does it work differently when it's single elimination?
Right now, it's just all Pittsburgh. So, it takes every bit of effort that you have to make sure you're ready for this football team. And they're a good football team. So
got four more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Mike Tomlin told me earlier today that he learned a lot in that 1 year that he spent with Chile up in Minnesota. Just wondering, do you see any similarities, anything that you see in Mike Tomlin that reminds you of yourself and some of the success that you both have shared?
Well, listen, he's a heck of a football coach. He's also a friend. I've got to know him over the years. So I don't know that. I know I enjoy being around him, and he's been very, very successful at what he does. So, and I know he and Brad are very close too. So Eric Bieniemy was on that side. I mean, there are a lot of people that kind of intertwine were on that staff. And, we all feel like we've known each other for a while. So, yeah.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go Pete.
Hey, Coach, I know you guys are going to see about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but in his absence, really, you've had a lot of contributions at the running back position. Is it safe to say it could be a committee hot hand type of whoever's playing best because it's the postseason and maybe the one you guys go with?
Well, we've kind of done that throughout here, just roll guys in and everybody's had their little role with the offense. And so we'll keep doing that. We try to keep guys fresh and the best you possibly can, against a really good defense. So it won't be any different than during the season where we did that.
Last two, we'll go James and then Joe. Go ahead, James Palmer.
Hey, Andy, I'm curious about over your years with Travis and his understanding of defenses and leverage over the years, that when you guys come up with these ways to put defenses in compromising situations, how much input does he have when you guys are working things out, since he has such a great feel for it,
Yeah, no, listen, we listen to him. We kind of know by now what he likes and feels comfortable with. So we try to work it in where he doesn't have to worry too much about all that. But absolutely. I mean, we listen to really all the guys that have been with us, and nobody's been here longer than Trav, and literally. And so he has a right to suggest things too.
We'll last to Joe Drake. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
A question about Patrick. He comes off defeat in the Super Bowl, an injury. He's a new father, new set of circumstances. What have you seen as far as maturity from him, or anything different this season than seasons before?
Well, no, I mean, he's growing before our eyes. I think all of us, without too much of a cliche here, but he's a young guy. He came here as a young guy. He's still not old in our comparison, but he's mature for his age, and he continues to experience these things of life that kind of present themselves when you are famous and when you are a new dad. All the things Ben's already gone through, and he's kind of experiencing now, just like what Ben went through and some of these other quarterbacks. But that's a unique position because you're the face of the organization, and so that's it's important how you handle that. And he does such a nice job with it, and we're grateful that he's a mature kid.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we have Patrick coming up next. All right, Patrick. We'll start first with Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick. Just looking at Melvin Ingram, I know he's on the other side of the ball, but I'm curious when you were playing games against him, how you had to account for him, and if you might be able to elaborate on what you think he's brought to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a leader. I mean, he's someone he's a vet. He understands how to play the game. He knows how to play it the right way. And, he's a mismatch out there. I mean, he's just as good in the run as he is against the pass. And so he can play every single down. He can go out there and play with his presence, kind of bring everybody along. And he's been a great addition to the D-line room.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go down.
Hey, Patrick, I was wondering if there are things you know about playoff football now that you didn't know, say, before that Tennessee game, that Tennessee playoff game your rookie year, or even the Colts game the next year. And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing you kind of realize is that at any moment, one play can change really the entire game. And I know it's like that in the regular season, but playoffs it even goes to a different level. You know that one play can change. It can really end your season or keep it going. So you try to limit your mistakes as much as possible, knowing that it's going to be a battle to the very end every single playoff game.
Okay. I mean, do you have any stories of things that happened and how you learned these lessons?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look back at that Tennessee game, that my first year. I mean, there was little plays here and there. I remember the touchdown that Mariota threw where it got slapped down. He ended up catching for a touchdown. The tackle by Derek Johnson early in the game it was a fumble and it ended up saying the forward progress was stopped. Those little plays changed the outcome of that game, and so you know that those little things they matter. You have to make sure you really focus on the details, do what you can in order to find a way to win a game.
Next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Patrick, I know you guys are coming off a Denver game where you wish you were a little bit more consistent. You only had a limited Tyreek Hill in that game. It seemed from some of his dancing and the warm-ups today he should be okay. What do you think you gain? What were you missing? What do you think you gained from having Tyreek Hill potentially a full go on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, he's a special player. He makes the defense account for everybody. I mean, the fact that they have his speed on the field, it makes defenses play different coverages. They know that they can't put him in man-on-man situations because of how talented he is. But I thought guys stepped up. McColl played a great game. Other guys stepped up, made some big catches and some big moments. And that's the great thing about this team is whenever guys' numbers get called, they've stepped up and made plays happen.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Brad, I'll have a couple things. Patrick, to follow up on what you said with Adam, I mean, just learning those things, the finer details and how quickly a game can change. Does that affect the way you enter a playoff game at all? I mean, obviously, I assume you want to be yourself and what's gotten you here and what's been successful, but does it change anything?
I think you just have to bring a little bit different intensity. Obviously, you go through the same process that you would do every single week of the entire season because you want to treat every single week like, I mean, it could be your last. But you go through the week the same way. But when you get to that playoff game day, you have a little bit of different intensity, knowing that every play is critical. It can really end your season by making a mistake. But at the same time, you want to be loose, you want to have fun, and you want to enjoy it because, I mean, you don't know how many more of these games you're going to get in the playoffs, and I want to make sure I'm ready to enjoy all of them.
The second one's something I asked Andy, but you're seeing a team that you faced in the regular season. You did that in 2019. You did that obviously in last year's Super Bowl. I realize you do that with division opponents. But as far as your preparation, do you prepare to see a lot of what you've seen before, or does your experience tell you to prepare to see a lot of different things than what you've seen before?
I think you have to prepare for both. I mean, obviously they're going to take away the stuff that they did good against us. And then they're going to try to change stuff that they didn't have as much success with. So, I mean, they have a lot of really good coaches over there. They have a lot of really good players, and they've played in playoff games. They understand how to change stuff up. They understand to go back to what they're great at. And so we're expecting a battle. And we'll be ready to go, and we're going to try to find answers for everything because they're going to throw all different pitches to us, and we have to be able to respond and have success as much as possible.
Let's go next to James Palmer. Go, James.
Patrick, so much of how you play the game is that second play that defenses prepare for. But at the same time, when you have a pass rusher like TJ Watt, it's almost like that second effort that maybe you have to prepare for, right? You might make a miss once, but you're not done with him. Is there a different approach with a guy that has kind of that relentless motor as a pass rusher when you're trying to buy time and make something happen?
Yeah, I mean, he's a special player. I don't know what runs in that family, but they have great football players over there. And you said it. I mean, TJ's not only special as far as the way he can bend and get to the quarterback, but the effort that he plays with. And they have a lot of guys like that over there. Cam Hayward, Highsmith. I mean, they have a lot of guys that play hard the entire game, and that they continuously play and go and go. And so for me, it's about whenever I do make those extended long plays, not making a bad play happen. I mean, those guys will be kind of around me the whole time as far as following the play. So when I kind of scramble up and I step up in the pocket when stuff's not there, I have to make sure I account for them because I know they're not going to give up on the play.
We'll go three more, starting with Darren. Go ahead, Darren Smith.
Hey, Patrick, this is kind of a twofold question, but look, you played 17 games this year. Obviously, I think in your MVP year, you played 16 games. What have you been doing to keep yourself healthy? And obviously making sure that when they had the little outbreak, that you kind of avoided that. But then also, because you're going up against Big Ben, this could potentially be his last year. He's played 18 seasons. What would that mean for you to, quote unquote, end his career Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even thought about it like that. I mean, he's an all-time great quarterback that's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But he's still playing great football right now. If you look at the big throws that he's made to keep their season alive, we know it's going to be a great challenge for us, not just him, but that entire team. They have an attitude about them. They have a mindset that they play with, so we're not taking them lightly at all. I mean, they're a team that has beat a lot of really good football teams. And so to get to play against Big Ben, it's an honor for me. I mean, he's a great football player. And then as far as myself, I mean, I've been doing whatever I can to try to stay healthy as I possibly can. That's learning from stuff I did in the past, eating better, trying to get more sleep, which is harder when you have a little baby at home. But doing whatever I can to kind of keep myself available for the team. And we've done a good job so far, knock on wood, but I'm trying to keep it up and keep that thing rolling.
Last two will go Joe and then Todd. Go ahead, Joe.
Patrick, you came into this season off a tough defeat, an injury. You're a new father. Did you approach this differently than you had in previous seasons? And I am going to have a follow-up, Brad.
Yeah, so I didn't necessarily approach the season a different way, but I've definitely learned different things as the season's gone on. Trying to find times where I can be at home and be with Sterling and hanging out with her, but still at the same time getting in all the work that I have to do. So if that's getting to bed a little bit earlier and getting up in the building a little bit earlier, just so I can make sure that I'm getting all the work that I've usually done and still get to spend that time with her. I mean, it's just little stuff like that. I mean, I still have the same mindset. I have the same process that I go through each and every week. But trying to find those little moments where I can spend a little bit more time with her is always something that I prioritize.
And, you know, I'm a Kansas City native, grew up with the Chiefs. I understand what the Chiefs and what you mean to that community. Has that made you change your behavior a little bit, or is there a pressure always there that you feel?
Not necessarily. I mean, for me, I've always been myself. And that's why I think I've gotten along with Kansas City so well, is they really enjoy just letting me be who I am, letting me be a part of their community, such a home type feel with great people. And that's why I'm here for the long run. I mean, to be in Kansas City with these people, Chiefs Kingdom, I mean, I'm really, really excited to be here for a long time.
We'll last to Todd Palmer. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Patrick. You've talked a lot about execution or in various games, lack of it this season. Was the Pittsburgh game an example of some of the best execution you guys have had? And also, kind of along with that, when you had so much success in a game like that, do you want to keep most elements of a game plan since it worked so well the first time around?
I think with any game, it's kind of like when you play a division opponent. You keep a little bit of stuff here and there, but you have to come with a different game plan for sure. I mean, they're gonna go through and they're gonna watch the game plan and try to take away that stuff that we had success with the first time. So we'll definitely have some elements of it there, but we'll have definitely stuff to go off of what we had the week before, or the game before. Yeah, I mean, we had a great game that day where we executed at a very high level. But this is a good defense. I mean, they're going to come with answers. They have great coaches that have coached for a long time and had a ton of success. So we know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a battle for us each and every play, and we'll come in with the mindset knowing that if we don't play our best football, we'll be at home the next week.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got Travis coming up next. All right, Travis, we'll start first with Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Travis, you had to miss this Steelers game last time out. You were on that COVID list. Can you take us through that week and what it was like to try to get back ready, and how frustrating was it to have to watch a game and just tweet about it instead of playing in it?
Yeah, no, it was a pretty frustrating time. I think that, you know, even though I had some symptoms, it was nothing that would have ever kept me out of being in the facility practicing and then going and playing in a game. So it was pretty frustrating to not just go out there with my guys. But then once the game actually happened, I had some fun watching us, you know, go to work, because we were hitting on all cylinders. You know, when the Chiefs are hitting on all cylinders, man, we have a lot of fun doing it.
Let's go next to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Travis, hope you're doing well. this season has been a lot of ups and downs, and you fought through a lot of adversity, including yourself, and with the COVID and everything going on. Where do you feel that the team has learned through the adversity in this season that makes you believe that you guys are primed for another Super Bowl run? And how have you been able to take care of yourselves physically throughout this entire longer season?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first time that I can remember ever playing 18, or not ever remember, but the first time we ever played 18 weeks. 17 actual games, and I think that over the past few years, being able to play in the postseason, we kind of had an understanding of what that last game was going to feel like. But at the same time, through the ups and downs of any season, Coach Reid has always done a great job at presenting us challenges week in, week out. And it's no different than this week. Playoffs are here. Everybody's got to get juiced up and motivated to, put everything aside, man. We got 5 weeks to try and, achieve the ultimate goal of winning the Super Bowl, and 1 week at a time. And this week is the Steelers to just, grind out, make sure that we got all the answers for anything that they could do.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go, Pete.
Travis, simple question for me. This will be your 13th postseason game in your career. What do you love most about playing in postseason compared to the regular season?
Just the opportunity to keep playing the game. There's a lot of teams that won't be out there this week. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be here in Kansas City and have the success that we've had over my entire 9 years in the league. I just try and take advantage of those opportunities, man, because not everybody gets them.
Let's go next to Sarin Petro. Quote Sarin.
Travis, there was a stretch there where it seemed like, everything was going against you guys, some self-inflicted wounds. I know you guys talked about getting back to it. What did you guys do when it comes to, like, on your end, for drops or different things like that, when it just felt like the whole world was working against you? Do you work more? Do you work less? Is it one of those things that, like in baseball, they have a phrase where they say, try easier, like maybe you're overdoing it. As you look back, you guys kind of worked through that. How did you come through that stage?
Well, I think I just mentioned kind of how Coach Reid, week in, week out, keeps presenting guys with challenges. He presents the team with a challenge. When he's installing plays on the offensive side, he presents every individual with a certain challenge that week. And in terms of the drops and the mistakes, the self-inflicted wounds, that's just focus, man. It's and what are we locked in on? Are we doing stuff in practice so that we can instinctually play the game the right way and not hurt the team? And that's really been the biggest thing, is just where's our focus, and are we presenting the other team with the difficulty of always trying to react to what we're doing on the offense side of the ball. And that's really where it's been all season. And like I said, Coach Reid just presents those challenges for us. And all the coaches really do that, both offensively and defensively.
Sarin, did you have a follow-up? There you go. You're unmuted now.
Sorry about that, Brad. Thank you. Overall, I know you talked about the time length of the season. What about the time length of like the last 3 or 4 seasons, right? The cumulative effect of you guys, 2 Super Bowl runs, an AFC championship. You've played more games than anybody. Is the offseason enough to recharge your batteries, or is there a cumulative effect from playing this deep into the year so many times in a row?
Man, I'm just juiced up to get another week to play football, man. I don't think about any of those kind of things. At this point in the season, everybody's dealing with something, and in terms of like discomfort or injury, or just trying to power through some things that might be nagging on them and work through it. Make sure that you stick to the fundamentals and the routines that you've had all season. Try not to fall astray to a lot of the little things that you do, so that you can just go out there and fly around and have fun, man. And when you're in the playoffs, man, you don't make any excuses like what's happened in past, man. You put your head down and you just go.
Go next to Herbie Teope. Go to Herbie.
Hey, Travis, you've got a lot of records, and I know you don't really look too much at what your individual accomplishments are, but you have one that was broken this year by your teammate Tyreek Hill just 2 games ago. What was your reaction to him breaking your record, and how much playful joking was going on between the two of y'all when you did it?
I think I said it when he got the record that that it's supposed to be held by a wide receiver. You know what I mean? The tight end, isn't always the focal point in the offense. And I think that Tyreek has done an unbelievable job over the course of his career of taking his game to the next level. And sure enough, you see him start to not only breaking records, but setting records earlier on in his career. And he's just going to keep taking off, man. It's so fun to play with him. Can't say enough about the guy in terms of who he is on and off the field, man. One of my favorite teammates.
Got 3 more quick ones here, guys, starting with Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Travis, Coach talked about seeing Patrick grow up before his eyes. You've grown up alongside of him. He comes in here, new father, off an injury, off a disappointing loss. Have you noticed any difference this season than previous ones?
In terms of Patrick?
Yes, in terms of Patrick and his maturity or things he does different.
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is seeing just how much in terms of the load of the offense, how much we're putting on his shoulders week in, week out to understand what defenses are doing, knowing that we're getting a lot of variety of different coverages thrown at us because of how successful we've been and how hard it is to, get lined up against a Coach Reid style offense. And I think how much we put into Pat, he just keeps growing with it. And that's where the maturity comes, is the understanding of what the other side of the ball is doing and the instinctual ability to know where to go with the ball week in, week out. Pat's a tough guy. So when it comes to injuries or discomfort and stuff like that, I don't think that's ever going to slow him down. He kind of just mentally pushes through that kind of stuff and stays accountable for the guys around him.
Last 2, we'll go Vahe and then Steve. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Travis, I'll have a quick follow-up also, Brad. I just wonder if you can recall, how much did you ever block Melvin Ingram the last few years, and what kind of assignment was that when you did tangle with him? Then I'll have the follow-up, Brad.
I think it was my first 7 years, first 8 years playing. I had to get him at least twice a year. But man, I'm glad he's on our team. I'll tell you that much. He just has the entire package, man. I said it when he came here, man. Anytime you add a juice man or just an ultimate competitor like him, it doesn't matter what sport you put that guy in. He's got a great feel of being a competitor and especially playing with teammates. And that's why he fit the mold so perfect when he got here. Both his energy on the field and who he is on the field in terms of playmaker. I mean, it was a perfect match, and I'm definitely glad to have him here and having to go against him twice a year.
And just the follow-up really is, do you have the feeling that we do too, that in some ways he helped reset the defense and enable Chris to go back inside and kind of has had a pretty big ripple effect?
The swag champ, man. You bring a guy with that much juice and that much swagger about himself, a perennial all-star throughout his entire career. I mean, that makes everybody play better. And you saw it immediately how much more fun the guys were having. I mean, not that, we weren't on that track to getting better. I do believe that we had a lot of guys that were figuring it out both offensively and defensively, and sure enough, when he came in, it's kind of like everybody started clicking even more.
Last one to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Swag champ, I love it, man. Travis, how you doing, man?
Living the dream, brother.
Hey, you guys know what the feeling was to win a Super Bowl and also to lose a Super Bowl as well. I know at the beginning of this season, some of the guys said, "Hey, we're going to use the loss in last year's Super Bowl as motivation, to get back to the Super Bowl again." Now, at this point in the season, going into the playoffs, are you guys still using that as motivation?
I mean, it's in the back of my mind. I think for the most part, it's a new year, man. You got to focus on the things that you got going on this season. How we've got to where we are and, how we can keep striving to get better every single game. But at the end of the day, that thought's always in the back of our mind that, we're on a goal to, prove ourselves, that we are who we think we are who we know we are. And that's Super Bowl champs, man. And that's just how you gotta roll. You can't think about it, but just know that it's in the back of your mind every time you go to work.
Travis, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
All right, now.
All right, guys, that is it for today. Let me hit our button here and then we can chat. Give me 1 second.